Memory lane. The thing is, I go to sleep pretty late. Lights on and everything, drawing and writing and doing unproductive things. So I heard the knock, 3 purposeful raps, right on the front door. But I ignored it, because I didn't feel like getting murdered. This morning, I found a newspaper as I was taking out the trash. Black, wrapped in twine like some kind of fake antique scroll. I brought it back in, because why not? When I unrolled it, the words "The Midnight Paper" greeted me, in big white font. The article. Memory lane, more than mere nostalgia. Reports of strange occurrences in a seemingly regular neighborhood started popping up within the past month. At first, people posted about their experiences as something they dreamed about, or as a what-if scenario. As these types of posts became more common, the people involved began to ask, "Did this really happen to you?" To which the response gradually became, "Yes." The first-hand account we present to you here comes from a young man, who remains anonymous. "I wasn't really aware of anything strange happening, at first," he recalls. "I was visiting my childhood home. I don't have many memories of that place. My parents split, and my mom got custody of me and moved. There wasn't a big fight, it was acceptance on both sides, and my dad stayed in contact, but I've never visited until now." The young man says that, although he had no memories of the house, it felt incredibly nostalgic. His dad left to go to work, and so the young man decided to leave the house and go for a walk. "It got pretty stifling," the young man admits. "Most of it is different from the pictures of when I was really little, but I could see places here and there left over from when there was supposed to be a whole family. The dining table, for example, is too big. I felt bad, thinking of my dad eating at that table all alone." The young man says that he's planned to walk the whole street, just to see what it's been like for his dad. Apparently, when the parents were still together, he would be carried by his dad down the street. "I think my dad wanted to do that again," the young man says. "But neither of us are really comfortable with each other yet. The long silence would be torture, I think." The young man describes his walk as ordinary. "I wasn't really paying attention to my surroundings. And anyway, I didn't know the area well enough to tell if anything was different." And then he hesitates. "I got back to the house," he says, slowly. It seems to be hard for him, but then, most people who claim to have experienced this phenomenon have difficulty sharing what occurred. "It was nicer, somehow. The grass was greener." He looks embarrassed at this, but continues, "When I opened the door, it was different. Honestly, I thought I was in the wrong house." He says that the house's interior resembled that of his childhood. When he left the house, the rest of the neighborhood seemed normal. He had a conversation with a woman next door, an old woman who introduced herself as his neighbor and seemed kind. "I went walking again. I checked my phone, and went around the entire neighborhood again. Nothing out of the ordinary. And when I got back to the house, apparently, things went back to normal when he returned." Later that evening, he casually asked his dad about the woman he'd spoken to. His dad told him that the woman was someone who'd looked after him when he and his mother still lived there. Additionally, that woman has passed away some years ago. The young man hadn't intended on sharing his story, but after seeing other, similar accounts, he came forward with his own. Memory lane is an occurrence that happens in nostalgic places, whether one has conscious memories or not doesn't seem to matter. These reports vary from light-hearted conversations with people who no longer exist to reliving entire events in the past. Although the times and places vary, one thing remains: we have the sources to allow you to experience or avoid this phenomenon for yourself. Whichever path you decide to take for yourself, the following address will cause you to take a trip into memory lane, XXXXXX Street. I read the whole thing through. The address had no indication of a country, county, or area code. Nothing to narrow it down beyond the street name and house number, which I've censored for reasons you'll understand in a bit. I was curious, but also deeply concerned. See, the thing is, the address happened to be my own childhood address. And, as it so happens, I'm planning to take a trip there this weekend to visit family. So either I'm going to have an interesting experience, or someone's playing a prank.